What up, guys? It is Reed. I am 27, just an average dude, and I have made so many money mistakes in my 20s. It is honestly kind of embarrassing to think about, but I want to share everything I have learned so you can take control of your finances and your life. So today we are talking about how to actually progress way faster than everyone else around you. And look, I want to be real with you from the jump. I am getting over a cold right now, so if I sound a little off, my bad, but I wanted to get this out there because these are not theories I pulled from some random book I skimmed once. These are real strategies I have used in my own life to get my finances together, to stop living paycheck to paycheck, to pay off my debt, and to actually start building something for myself. And let me be honest with you about something else too. I think competition gets a bad rap these days. Everyone is always saying stay in your lane, do not compare yourself to others, just focus on yourself. And look, I get where that comes from, I really do, but here is my take. A little bit of healthy competition, especially when you are in your 20s and trying to figure your life out, is actually a good thing. It keeps you honest, it keeps you hungry, and it keeps you from getting comfortable when you should be grinding. So let me stop rambling and get into it. Strategy number 1, and in my opinion, the most important one, is the elimination principle. You need to become obsessed with cutting stuff out of your life. I cannot stress this enough. Most people try to do everything at once, right? They want to save money, they want to start a side hustle, they want to get in shape, they want to learn a new skill, they want to fix their relationships all at the same time. And what ends up happening is they spread themselves so thin that they accomplish absolutely nothing in any area. That was literally me for years. I would sit down in January with this huge list of goals, like I am going to save 10,000 this year, I am going to start a business, I am going to read 50 books, I am going to learn how to code, I am going to meal prep every single week. And then by February, I had done none of it, and I felt like a failure. The problem was not me. The problem was that I was trying to do way too much at once. Fast progressors, people who actually get ahead in life, they are ruthless about cutting out noise, they hyper-focus on one specific thing at a time, and they just keep compounding their wins. If I could give you one piece of tactical advice right now, it would be this. Grab a piece of paper or your notes app, whatever works for you, and write down everything you are currently working on. I do not care if it is school, if it is your job, if it is your personal life, if it is a hobby, just dump it all out. Then circle only the top 3 things that directly move you toward your main goal. Whether that is a savings goal, a debt payoff goal, an income goal, a fitness goal, whatever it is, everything else you need to either delegate it, delete it, or delay it. That is the 80-20 principle in action. 20% of your activities drive 80% of your results. If you want to move faster, you have to get rid of the noise. I have had to say no to so many things even recently. I had potential partnerships and sponsors reach out. Some of them were kind of sketchy, if I am being honest. And it is tempting to say yes because money is money, right? But I looked at them and I thought I have to stay focused on my main thing. I would rather build my own stuff than plug someone else's product that I do not even believe in. So that is what I am dealing with in real time, and you are probably dealing with something similar. Just remember, focus will never hurt you, especially in the long run strategy. Number 2, learn like your life depends on it, because honestly, it kind of does. And learn with AI specifically if you can. This is about learning acceleration. Most people learn passively. They watch a YouTube video, they scroll through a blog post, they listen to a podcast while doing something else, and they think they are learning, but they are not really learning. They are just consuming. And at worst, they do not even apply anything they just watched or read. I see this all the time. People comment on my video saying this was so helpful, and then 3 months later, they are in the exact same spot. Nothing changed. I have had consult calls with people like that too. They have all the information they need, but they never actually do anything with it. So here's what fast learners do differently after every single learning session. Whether it is a video, a podcast, a book, a course, whatever they practice, active recall, they close the book, they close the video, and they try to teach the concept back to themselves or to someone else. I struggled with this at first too. It is uncomfortable. You feel like you are wasting time because you could just keep consuming more. But trust me, that discomfort is where the real learning happens. And here's the secret sauce that most people miss. Study failures, study people who have messed up, who have had failed businesses, who have made terrible financial decisions. Everyone is reading success stories, and that is fine, but you need to be analyzing what went wrong and why. That lets you skip years of trial and error. I would pay good money to learn what someone messed up on so I do not have to make the same mistakes. If I can learn from a guy who is 5 years ahead of me and figure out what he did wrong, I just cut my learning curve in half or even more. So find someone who has already achieved what you want. It could be through books, podcasts, or online content. I do not care. And then reverse engineer their process. Do not try to reinvent the wheel. Just copy what works and then adapt it to your own situation. And here's a little side note for you. Plug all your learnings into something like Claude or ChatGPT. These AI tools can pull from so many data sources. So if you find an article about a guy who failed with 3 different businesses, you can say, hey, Claude, can you pull other data on failures that this guy had that I am not seeing from this one blog post? And it is going to spit back a ton of information that you can use for your future learning. This is huge and not enough people are doing it. Strategy number 3, system systems beat goals every single time. Goals are what you want. Systems are what actually get you there. This is something I learned the hard way for years. I would set these big goals like I want to save $5,000 by the end of the year, or I want to start a side hustle that makes me an extra $1,000 a month. But I never created the systems to actually make those things happen. So I would just be sitting there at the end of the year confused about why I did not hit my goal. The truth is, goals without systems are just wishes. Instead of saying I want to save $5,000, create a system. Open a separate savings account, set up an automatic transfer of $400 every month, and cut out one subscription that you do not need. Instead of saying I want to build a business, create a system. Spend the first hour of every day working on your business before you check your phone, before you check email, before you do anything else. The magic happens in those daily habits. That is what compounding is all about. A 1% improvement every day leads to being like 37 times better over the course of a year. That is not motivation, that is just math. But the key is you need to design your environment so that good choices become automatic. If you want to read more, put books everywhere and hide your phone. If you want to eat healthier, prep your meals on Sunday. Remove friction from good habits and add friction to the bad ones. There is always a way to do this, you just have to be the one to find it. Strategy number 4, work backwards from where you actually want to be. Most people start from where they are and try to figure out the next step. And by default, you are just walking through mist. You do not know where you are going. And that is okay in the short term. But long term, you need to figure out where you want to go and then work backwards from there. Fast progressors start from the finish line and reverse engineer the path. Let me give you a real example. Let us say you want to make 100 grand next year. Work backwards from that. That is $8,333 a month. That is a little over $2,000 a week. That is about $400 a day. So the real question becomes, what specific actions generate $400 of value every single day? Not just I want to make 6 figures one day because I made that mistake all the time. In my early years, 2020, 2021, I would always say I want to make 6 figures and I never hit it because I did not have anything quantifiable to work backwards from. I was just throwing a number out there and hoping the universe would take care of it. That is not how it works. And here's a side note, this is why I love sales as a skill to develop, because maybe one solid close per Dalton Y on a good offer you are making at least $400, $500 a day. That gives you a clear, actionable target. This reverse engineering stuff reveals the shortest path and eliminates years of wandering. It also shows you that most conventional timelines are complete BS. People say it takes 10 years to master something because that is what they have been told, not because it is true. You can master stuff in a year, sometimes even less. So question everything. Most limitations are mental, they are not actually real. Strategy number 5, embrace strategic incompetence. This one sounds a little counterintuitive, I know, but hear me out. Embrace being bad at things at first. Trust me, we are all bad at stuff when we start. I was horrible at sales when I first started. I was terrible at it. I have always been bad at school and traditional studying. Like, I just am not good at that stuff. Most people avoid being bad at things like the plague. The second they feel uncomfortable or stupid, they walk away. And that is exactly how you can beat 9 out of 10 people, because most people stay stuck in their comfort zone forever. Fast progressors understand that incompetence is temporary. They are willing to look stupid for a short period of time so they can become competent faster. They ask dumb questions, they fail publicly, they iterate quickly. That has been one of the biggest lessons I have learned in the last 4 or 5 years. I stopped caring about looking smart, I started optimizing for learning speed, so take action before you feel ready. Perfectionism is not doing anything for you. It is fear disguised as a virtue, it makes you look cool on the surface, but it is not getting you anywhere. The fastest way to get good at something is to be bad at it as quickly as humanly possible. Strategy number 6, get around the right people. I cannot emphasize this enough. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. If you want to level up faster, you need to upgrade your environment. And that can mean online too. Honestly, for me, it was mostly online. I did not have a bunch of successful entrepreneur friends in real life when I was starting out, so I had to find my people on the internet. This does not mean you have to ditch your current friends or never talk to your family again, but it does mean intentionally seeking out people who are already operating at the level you want to be at. Join communities, attend events if you can, engage with content creators in your space. This is exactly what I did in my early days. I reached out to people I thought were cool and interesting, and half the time they replied to me within the same day. If you just put yourself out there, you would be surprised at how accessible people actually are. And here's the secret. Do not just consume content from these people, contribute. Actually be of value to someone. Do not just be a fan. Try to talk to them. Try to learn from them. Try to bring something to their life too. Share your progress publicly. This creates accountability and it attracts other people on similar journeys. Collaboration beats competition every single time. Instead of trying to outdo everyone, find ways to rise together. The fastest progressors build networks, not just skills on their own. And finally, strategy. Number 7, the compound effect of small wins. This one ties everything together. Most people want dramatic transformations overnight. They want to go from broke to rich in a month, from out of shape to fit in 2 weeks, from zero to hero before the end of the quarter, but real progress happens through small, consistent improvements that compound over time. I forget the exact quote, but Tony Robbins said something like, most people overestimate what they can do in a month and underestimate what they can do in a year. And that is so damn true. When we get that burst of motivation, we feel so hyped up, we go hard for a week or two, maybe a month, and then when we do not see instant results, we give up. How stupid is that? So track your leading indicators, not just your results. Instead of just tracking weight loss, track your workouts completed. Instead of just tracking your income, track the skills you developed and the connections you made. Celebrate your small wins along the way. This is not just feel-good advice, it is literal science. Every small victory releases dopamine, which motivates you to keep going. That builds discipline over time, but you have to get those quick wins first to build momentum. Look, I know this was a lot. 7 strategies is a lot to digest, but if you take nothing else away from this video, just remember that progress does not have to be complicated. You do not need some fancy formula or a secret that nobody else knows. You just need to be consistent. You need to cut out the noise. You need to learn the right way, and you need to keep showing up even when it feels like nothing is happening. I spent years spinning my wheels and getting absolutely nowhere. I was broke, I was in debt, I had no direction, and I felt like I was falling behind everyone else my age. But I started applying these principles one at a time, and things slowly started to change. Not overnight, not in a week, not even in a month, but over time. And that is really the whole point. If I can figure this out, you can too. I promise you that. Peace.